This man, look at this. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Highlights him all over the place, bruh. Look, highlights all over the place. Got screens all over the place to distract you from his face. Dead eyes. God, dog, man. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting, Xbox. Freaking white supremacists. White supremacy everywhere, bruh. Even in video games. Damn shame.
Jane, let's step outside.
You unlock this door with a simple registration. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of memes. A dimension of trolls. A dimension of morons. You are moving into a dimension of both factual and unfactual information, of rumours and hopes. You just crossed over into YouTube Fanboy Zone. Hello and welcome back to the channel, back with another episode. I've not been around for a while, I've been busy at work and I've just been doing stuff around the house and catching up on a few bits. But here I am, because there's so much been going on in the past month, what with the Xbox showcase and the games they showed. Of course, what they did show was good. I mean, I scored it, I think a 7 or 8 out of 10. I think generally it was good, because I like the way it flowed, the games they showed. I tell you what I like most about it is that they only showed the next 12 months, because everyone used to hate on them for going beyond 12 months, saying, oh, they're showing games we're not going to see for years, the years out. So they thought, okay, we'll only show games that are in the next 12 months. And I like that, and I hope going forward that's all we see. So they only show games within 12 months. But obviously this triggered a certain fan base, the PlayStation fan base, because, well, it's triggered a lot of hate on various games. Forza Motorsport was one of them, which is, I can't comprehend why that game got hate. But we won't go into that in this episode. This one, we're going to go into Starfield, and the hate Starfield got from, of course it did. Why wouldn't it have got, regardless of what they showed? If they showed God of War Ragnarok coming to Xbox, it would have been trash. If it was only on Xbox, it would have been trash. They would have zoomed in and just found faults with it, and that's what they do best, and then sort of deflect and make out the Xbox games do it. That's what they like to do. They like to find fault in everything Xbox, because let's be honest, PlayStation isn't really offering them much or showing much on their shows or in the way of games going forward. It doesn't show them a roadmap, so they need to vent somewhere, and rather than sort of vent at PlayStation, they're not going to do that. They're going to vent at Xbox. But really this video is about some people venting on Starfield and Xbox. And we're going to start off with the Amazing Lucas. I'm not sure why he calls himself the Amazing Lucas. I'm sure Lucas is his name. I don't know where the word amazing comes from, because it doesn't describe him whatsoever. But it's not so much his hate on Starfield. It's his weird racial slurs and homophobic sentences, the words he just drops, and sort of... I tell you, let's just get into this. So let's begin with the clip that I just showed of him going on about Xbox. I keep hearing this a lot, being a white supremacy console, which is absolutely ridiculous and just a disgusting sort of narrative to sort of push. I don't think anyone can convince me that the PlayStation fan base is a cult. They're not a cult. They are a cult. I mean, let's just go through a list of things off the top of my head here. They've literally created a sort of a site that's dedicated to what they call themselves Pegasus Nation, where they have like a script of what they must follow, what they must do, to basically hate on Xbox and hate on anything Xbox related, or in fact gaming. A lot of it actually says hate on games. If they're not Sony games, if they're not Sony exclusive, you must hate on these games. It basically just tells people to do that, to hate on anything that's not Sony related. That's the cult in itself, but it's the things they do. I mean, we've had them doxing patients, we've had them threatening rape on their own developers, studio devs and cast, send them dick pics. The list is endless. I could just go on. It's just a lot. That's just this generation. And of course, as always, the irony here is that what he accuses Xbox of being, mainly a racist sort of corporation, he's actually doing himself, because he claims they're a white supremacy console. Yet he continuously drops racial slurs and very homophobic slurs as well, which ironically is exactly what the KKK did. They were very homophobic and very racially motivated. They hated races and religion stuff, and he literally portrays that. He literally portrays the agenda that they was pushing. So it's ironic that he calls Xbox the white supremacy console. So in a way, after the showcase, Xbox showcased and Starfield was shown, Amazing Lucas done a live stream of it. The show ended after an hour and a half, I believe, something around that time. He went on for another 2.5 hours complaining about Starfield and taking calls on Starfield. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't agree with him, and so he sort of went on the attack of those people. What he would do is that he would just cut them mid-call and then start insulting them, which is just cowardly, really, and diabolical. But the clip I'm about to show, this guy is mocking the Amazing Lucas, which he doesn't get. The joke is he cut the guy off before he got to finish his joke. I think he knew where he was going. I hope he knew where he was going. He doesn't, even though he doesn't give the way he's going. Didn't grasp the joke. The guy, you can make your own ship basically in Starfield. The guy was saying he was going to make a ship look like a dick, and then the joke was going to be, and then I'm going to fly it into Uranus. That was where the joke was headed. I don't think the Amazing Lucas grasped that. He actually thought the guy wanted to make a ship into a dick. For I don't know, for whatever reason, and then started dropping homophobic sort of slurs down. Let me just show the clip and see what you think, because as I always do, I like to supply facts, so I'm not just going to tell you what I think. I'm going to show the clip and you tell me what you think. Is there sort of homophobic connotations here in what he's doing here?
You don't even have to tell me you have an Xbox controller. So now listen, Lucas. What we're gonna do? We're gonna turn the ship into a giant penis. What? Excuse me, I beg your pardon? No, listen, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Listen, hear me out. We're gonna turn the ship into a giant penis. I think we're good. I think that's all I want to hear of that conversation. Thank you. Thank you. Go back to playing Sea of Thieves. Go back to playing Sea of Thieves. Lord in heaven.
Still not convinced? Okay, let's continue then. Bear in mind that all these people he has calls from, he doesn't really have a proper conversation with them. He keeps cutting them off. Just because basically they disagree with some of the stuff he's saying. The only person that he kept on the line was the person that agreed with him. Ironically enough. But yeah, he just kept cutting people off all the time, and then would continue to insult them, call them Xbox fanboys because they don't agree with some of the takes he's got, and do these homophobic and racial slurs. So let's continue, see what you think.
You want to tell me he didn't have Master Chief nail polish? You know he had Master Chief nail polish, bro. You know that was his hands right there. That's his hands right there.
Hello.
Well, so what I'm going to do... What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to... Hear me out, Lucas. Hear me out. This is his hand, bro. Right there. That's... You know that's a man's hand, right? That's a dude's hand. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Absolutely. What goes on in white culture is white culture. Nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. Is he implying that only white people are gay? Is that where he's going with this, or only white people wear nail varnish? You can see my confusion. Let's just not tell Amazing Lucas about Little Nas and his industry baby song on YouTube. Yes, let's just not inform. Let's let him live in his little weird bubble. And you can see my point now, where he says about Xbox being white supremacist, and he just comes out with comments like this. This is fairly shocking, racial and homophobic. But let's just continue.
Goodness gracious. Let's try one more. 609. Are you excited for Starfield? Yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited for it.
Why are you excited for Starfield?
Cause my local GameStop's doing a special promo. If we pre-order, we get to fuck your mom.
That was actually pretty funny. He said if we pre-order, we get to fuck your mom. That was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I think we hit a nerve, bro. I think we hit a nerve. That was pretty fucking funny. Good job. That was pretty funny. I don't mind funny shit. That was fucking hilarious. He said, I'm so excited. Wow, you really like to fuck people's moms, I guess. I don't know about that one. I don't know if I'd be that excited to fuck another dude's mom, but hey, to each his own. To each his own. But I prefer, you know, younger women. That's just me. I prefer younger women. these mofos prefer fucking moms and shit. Okay, all right. To each his own. To each his own, bruh. To each his own. Hey, I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna knock it. If you like older women, go right ahead. But I hope he knows that, you know, my mom is not trans, right? I hope he knows that my mom isn't trans, right? Oh, God. Yeah, my mom isn't trans. I hope he knows that. Oh, maybe I should have told him. Yeah, my mom doesn't have a dick. Yeah, I'm sorry. You may be disappointed. You may be thoroughly disappointed to find out that my mom does not have a penis. Yeah. What? Where's the penis and balls? That's my favorite part. Yeah, no, she's not a trans. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She's one of the originals. Okay, I'm sorry. I think because that's what most Xbox players, you know, that's what they look for. Their type of MILFs are different than our type of MILFs, okay? Xbox players, they expect when they say they want to fuck your mom, they're anticipating your mom has, you know, a dick and balls.
You have cancer. How long do I have to live? 1 week. While I give the rest of your diagnosis, I'm going to gradually talk quieter, as if I'm growing distant, to show how overwhelmed you are by this news. And
I just don't want him to, you know, to be disappointed. That's all. I don't want him to be disappointed. Where's the dick and balls? That's what I learned in school. I learned in school that moms have dick and balls. Oh, yeah, no, bruh. What? This is unreal. This is unreal. Man, what am I going to do with my cat ears? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't mean to disappoint. Don't mean to disappoint. I'm sorry. When I say I have a mom and a father, that means they both don't have the same they don't have the same equipment. When Xbox says they have a mom and a father, they mean they have you know, they have a father and then they have a trans mom. That's what they mean. Which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have a problem. Hey, love is love. Love is love. But I don't think you can suck my mom's balls because she doesn't have balls. I know you're used to that. I know you're used to that. But that's not how that works. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hate to disappoint. I feel like I may have disappointed him.
No. I'm here. I'm just waiting for my brain cells to regenerate after listening to that. Yes, IQ going up, brain cells returning. Jesus H Christ, disappointed. I think the only person you probably, well, actually the only person, I think you disappointed your own mum there, Lucas. I'm sure she won't be proud of that rant. And I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people that think you sound pathetic, and they will be very disappointed in you. Probably the Pegasus Nation are really proud of what you said, and I mean, yes, I'm so glad you're standing up against the white supremacists there with your homophobic, racial slur, hate rants, because that show those white supremacists over on the Xbox, because apparently all Xbox gamers homophobes, racist, yeah, and gay, yeah, all of us. You can see why PlayStation fans are mocked in such a manner. You can see they do it to themselves. They write their own. Right, I'm going to move on from this now. Let's move on, because he goes on doing shit like that for as I said, that went on for 2.5 hours. And this is all about Starfield. This is all on the back of Starfield. You can see how inside he must be hurting to just do this for 2.5 hours about Starfield. You know, he doesn't care about Starfield, hates the game, but he sure had a lot to say about it. 2.5 hours worth of emotional baggage being exposed there. I think he needs to see a psychiatrist, to be honest. Just between you and me. But he's not the only one. We've got, right, let's get back onto Starfield. Let's get back onto track and visit another PlayStation fanboy. This one's Pewter Rock, Puny Rock, Poor Rock. I don't know. Third Rock. That's his name. It's something along those lines. But I think it's Pewter Rock, or Porter Rock. Porter Rock? Anyone in the comments confirm how you say it? Porter Rock. I'm going to go with. So Porter Rock has got he's got his own his own takes on Starfield and the show, and let's go into that.
So there's a lot of games. Overall, the show is just, once again, it's about Game Pass. Doesn't matter the level of quality or whatever. Casting the line and pulling people in is just simply look at all the content that you could play via Game Pass.
Okay, when they say quality, they mean graphics. If a game's not doesn't have graphics to a certain level, then they don't deem that as good quality, because graphics is all that matters. Not gameplay, not replayability, none of the other shit. Graphics. If a game's got good graphics, that means it's good quality. That's how they think. Because they're not really true gamers, really. That's how they think. Bear in mind they're used to having games. There were their games having 5+ hour cutscenes. Hence they look like movies. So that's what they're used to. They're used to basically high quality movies. They're not used to just playing games and enjoying them. So the first take is that yes, quality. It's not the quality. Yes, because Game Pass has a massive variety of games in it. Massive. It covers pretty much all genres and all qualities of game, from indies to AAA games. I'm not sure why that would be a bad thing. I'm not sure why you're putting AAA games are the only quality there is. But I suppose that's what Sony told you. That's what Jim told you. That's why they sort of pushed indies aside for a long time. But yes, so quality equals graphics for them. Just bear that in mind. Also, they're pushing Game Pass. Yes. Firstly, Port Rock, the games, you can also buy them. They're in Game Pass, but you can also buy them. But they're pushing Game Pass because they're in Game Pass day one. That's why they're just telling you these games are in Game Pass day one. So you don't need to buy them. You can just subscribe to Game Pass. You can play all these games. All these games we're about to show over the next 12 months going to Game Pass. So yeah, subscribe to Game Pass. You know, you don't have to pay £70 for games. You don't have to. So I'm not sure why that offends you, or why you're upset by them pushing their subscription service or selling. Sony, you know what? Sony does it. Sony shows things on PlayStation now. Or they show these things on their console. You know, I don't care. It'd be like saying, I don't care if the game's going to go on PlayStation 5. I want them to show games going to PC. Show more of those. You know, they're just showing games that are coming that you can play. And in this case, it's a Game Pass, so you don't have to spend money. They're trying to push a subscription service. Okay, I really don't get your narrative with this. It's a really just stupid narrative. You need to drop the Game Pass hate, because you're sure as hell bigging up the new PS Now subscription. You're fine with that, but you seem to hate Game Pass simply because it's more successful. It's just complain to Sony. If you're not happy with what Sony's subscription service is like, complain to them. Don't try to pull Game Pass down because it's better. Don't do that. It's ridiculous. That's not how things work. But let's continue with your little rant.
Customizations, build your own ships. A lot of people saying No Man's Sky did that, so at least it's not groundbreaking. Thousands of planets, I guess now. Like, oh boy, we heard that one before, right? Listen. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Starfield, right? Because, like I said, I enjoy Fallout. I enjoy Elder Scrolls. I love those games. So, just more of those type of games ain't really a bad thing. But to meet the hype that the Xbox community put on this game, to which, in my opinion, the hype would have not been there if it wasn't for Microsoft buying Bethesda. If Microsoft never bought Bethesda, nobody would be hyping this game to that level. You wouldn't see that level of hype. But the hype that Xbox guys did really put this game in a bad position. You know. Now, I'm liking the fact that you could build your own starships. I'm liking you could create your own apples. I think that's cool. Space battles, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually interested now in seeing No Man's Sky and see how that is, because apparently you could do all of that already in No Man's Sky, and they took it, and you could play it in VR. You could do all that. Space battles. From what I hear, No Man's Sky is just leagues beyond what it originally was. So now I'm interested just to see that, because it could be a better looking No Man's Sky. But speaking of this, though, graphically, Starfield does not look good graphically. It just doesn't.
So first off, his point is Starfield is overhyped because Xbox owned Bethesda, and if they didn't, it wouldn't have been overhyped. Let's just recall that it was the PlayStation fanboys that were first hyping up Starfield because they thought it was going to be exclusive to PlayStation. So let's just tap that narrative on the head. And this further strengthened that narrative because nobody hyped up, PlayStation fans never hyped up or never cared for Spider-Man until Spider-Man was made exclusive to the PlayStation, and now it's the most hyped game I think I could possibly think of. I think it's even more hyped than God of War and such. Same as Wolverine. They're now super overly hyped, and they wasn't ever previous. You know, there was a Spider-Man game that dropped in 2014, I believe. Nobody gave a shit about it. Nobody really cared for it. Sony buys Insomniac and the new Spider-Man franchise, and now it's super hyped. So your narrative is just a mess. It's just inconsistent mess. Secondly, the interesting point I keep hearing this place from PlayStation fanboys is that they're all going to play No Man's Sky because they can't play Starfield. They all now want to play No Man's Sky, and they're hyping it up. No Man's Sky has been out 4 years. None of them cared for it. None of them played it. None of them cared for it. Now they've seen a better version in Starfield. They all suddenly want to play No Man's Sky and seem to think it's great. Bear in mind, No Man's Sky came out 4 years ago, so it's had 4 years of extra content to get to where it is now. When it released, it was horribly bare bones. Like, they absolutely lied about all the content was supposed to be in it. There was a long list of stuff they said. Even the multiplayer and stuff like that wasn't in the game. And he touches on VR as well. No Man's Sky had VR on PC, I think, closely after launch. I don't think it's even released. The VR versions are released on No Man's Sky, or it might have just only recently released. So they've still not played it. They've still not played it or not cared for it. But now they suddenly do care for No Man's Sky VR, and No Man's Sky is suddenly great. And he's wrong as well. He said you can create your own ships and do all this and that in No Man's Sky. Really, no, you can't, because you don't know, because you've not played No Man's Sky. You can't there's nowhere near the same amount of customization there is in No Man's Sky compared to Starfield. character and ship and planet customization. Starfield has far better customization, and graphically, this is the irony here. Graphically, Starfield takes a massive dump on No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky looks exceptionally basic. It plays exceptionally basic. It's just an exploring game, No Man's Sky. Not much else. So Starfield takes a massive dump graphically. Yet you're just going on about quality and graphics and stuff. But now you're commending No Man's Sky over Starfield, when Starfield is clearly the better quality game. But now you're shitting on quality because it doesn't suit your narrative. Funny enough, both games are in Game Pass. No Man's Sky and Starfield will be in Game Pass. It's just your narratives continuously fall flat. You continuously contradict yourselves. It's just horrible to see. Let's see what else you have to say.
Caleb, thank you for the super chat. He says, I'm more excited to play No Man's Sky and PSVR 2 than Starfield. I'm be honest, now I'm interested in the way No Man's Sky is now. That's all looking at Starfield did. You know? I would say just playing games, sure. If you're just wondering what's going to be on Game Pass, I could imagine a lot of people are happy with the show because it's a Game Pass-centric show.
If you're going to be in the combat seat, then you got to be willing to blast up on some carries. Because with great power comes great responsibilities.
Okay, I just wanted some leg room.
But for many of us who wants to see what Xbox is bringing to the table in terms of big blockbuster content, meaning how are you contributing to the industry in terms of content, big blockbuster titles, not just, okay, you don't have to buy games. You could just play all these titles at $15 a month. We get it. But what are you bringing to the table in terms of the big blockbusters? And the show didn't do it. The show did not do it, man. It's Game Pass snackables. Yin Code Zero said it best. It's a Game Pass buffet, but no one's bringing the entree. Like no one's bringing a plate with the tomahawk steak. It's just literally let's keep throwing titles after titles. Let's try to make them console launch exclusives. It's not about big blockbuster flashy lights anymore. You know, and there's a lot of games a lot of people just don't want to play. You know, some stuff, like I said, is pretty cool looking. Diablo 4 is dope. Grounded, Jesus Christ, man, they just won't let that game die. A lot of indies. Persona coming to Xbox finally after years of being absent. Some Game Pass. That's a good idea because Xbox guys would have not bought that game. They would have not even bothered playing it unless it's on Game Pass. So, Minecraft Legends, Gunfire Reborn, like, yeah. Erebin Shadow Legacy 2023. Console launch exclusive, so it's multiplayer on PlayStation. It's just like I don't see heat, man. I'm looking, like, I wrote it down, man. I paid attention. This is everything, you know. And I'm looking at the list. I'm like, there's no heat, man. There's no heat. Like, where's the heat, bro? This is a showcase. You know, you know what really pisses me off? I'm so sick of this shit. Where the hell is goddamn Hellblade 2, bro?
The PlayStation fanbase seems to really hate Game Pass. They're meant to be talking about Starfield and such, but they always deflect to Game Pass. They cannot leave Game. It's really in their feelings. They really hate the fact that Xbox is putting its games on Game Pass and you can just play them, and you get the choice to buy them or just subscribe and play them. You're not forced to subscribe. You can still buy the games. These games are still in shops. You can still buy these games. I don't know why they're under the illusion that you can only play them in Game Pass. Like these games are now exclusive to Game Pass. You cannot get them anywhere else. And I don't know why he's under the illusion that Game Pass kills games and Xbox gamers don't buy games because they're going to Game Pass. How did Housemarque's Returnal do? 500,000 copies sold to a 20 million fan base. 500,000 copies. That's awful. Do you not buy your games? Ratchet and Clank. How's that doing? How'd that do? Demon Souls. How's that done? How's any of the PlayStation 5 games done? How have they done? Even Jim Ryan said himself, 10 million's not enough. You know, when you've got a console that there's 120 million units on the market and your games are only selling like 10 million, that's just shit. Basically, it's not good enough. You can say, "Oh, we're all buying our games." 10 million of you are, yeah. But the other 110 million that are not buying that game, what's happening to them? What are they playing? They're playing Call of Duty. They're playing Fortnite. They're playing games like GTA and Fallout and stuff, shit like that. They're playing those kind of games. They're not playing your exclusives, my guy. They're not playing those games. But it's just such a boring narrative. It's just so debunkable. It's so easy debunkable that it's just not worth going into. So let's finalise on him saying Xbox. How is it contributing to the industry? Where's all its big blockbuster games? So firstly, when they did do that last year, you complained that these games are too far out. Why show games that are years and years out? We want to see games that are coming out now. They've done that, and now you're saying, where are these games that are years and years out? Secondly, let's just take a look at Sony's recent showcase, where they showed Spider-Man going to PC, and then some indies, and some multiplats. Is that their big blockbuster games? Where's their roadmap? Because you keep saying, you know, where's Xbox games? Why they're not contributing? Let's just have a glance over. What have we got coming to PlayStation that we're actually aware of? We've got blockbusters. We've got God of War dropping this year. Next year, we've got Spider-Man. So 2022, God of War. 2023, Spider-Man. 2024, Wolverine. That's their roadmap. Those 3 games. We've seen nothing else. Don't get on me now. Oh, but they're remaking last. No, I'm not including remakes and remasters. Stop it. They're not. No, you can't tick new games as remasters and remakes or adding multiplayer to a game. That's not a blockbuster. Sorry, stop saying. Stop doing that. Stop. That's just sounding desperate for Sony. So their roadmap is God of War this year. Next year, Spider-Man. Year after that, Wolverine. That's their roadmap. That's their blockbusters. Bringing the heat. That's them bringing the heat. Let's see what we know about Xbox. What they've shown previously. He talked about Hellblade 2, Avowed, Starfield, Forza Motorsport, Redfall, State of Decay 3, Indiana Jones, Outer Worlds 2, Fable. I'm missing loads of games here, aren't I? I think there's about 12 to 15 first-party games that are on their roadmap, but that they've named a year ago or so. And, you know, those games are slowly dropping now. So that's their roadmap. That's them bringing heat. 12 to 15 blockbuster games, first-party, going into Game Pass. Where's Sony's list? Where is their heat? What have we got to be excited for? One game coming out next year, Spider-Man? And then remasters, remakes, and timed console exclusives, or then buying exclusive games like bloody remake of Final Fantasy Part 2, like just the Part 2. It's like you're paying £70 just for a game that should really be on a subscription service rather than paying £70 for each episode. That's ridiculous. Remember the uproar? Hitman got over that. You're paying £70 for an episode. I'd rather wait 5 years when the game's complete and it come on Game Pass, the complete game. Because you know that'll happen. It'll go on Game Pass, the complete game, and we wouldn't have paid by then about $500 for the game. What else? Wolverine coming out in 2024. What else? Where is Sony's heat? I can't grasp this concept where you're trying to make out that Xbox has not shown any games or announced any games. You've even seen gameplay of Hellblade 2, which you then claimed it wasn't. It wasn't good enough. Even your boy Jeff Keighley said, yes, it's gameplay looks incredible. And you're like, no, it's not. It's too good. Can't be. Nothing can be better than The Last of Us 2. No, not possible. No. We refuse to believe it. No. So we're going to zoom in 1,000% and just look at the pixels and just say, look, that's awful. Sony needs to bring the heat. I want to see Sony's roadmap. They used to always have roadmaps. And this generation, they're being very unclear on their way forward. And I think the reason for that is because they know that their games are going to start coming to PC and PS Now and stuff. And I think they're more nervous, or they're not too sure about that. I mean, look at how late they took for them to show the release date for God of War. It's almost as if like they was nervous about something or worried about something. I don't know. Or clearly, as I said in the recent podcast, there's waiting for a gap where there's nothing out there to compete against, so they can drop it, so it maximise its sales, so they can look, it's great. Personally, I don't think it's going to sell as well as the last one, and I don't think it'll rate as well. I reckon it's going to rate about 89, possibly 90% on Metacritic, and I don't reckon it'll sell as many. I mean, the first game only sold 10, 15 million copies. You know, is this your big blockbusters? 120 million units sold 10, 15 million copies. This is your game of the year, biggest game on PlayStation, sold 15 million copies to 120 million of you. You need to stop capping for these blockbusters and just start looking at the reality of gaming and where gamers actually choose to play. Xbox see it, Xbox know, and they're targeting that audience. Sony is slowly doing it. You just got to accept it and get on with it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please put in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions. Thank you for subscriptions. They're slowly easing their way up. I love the support. Thank you for supporting us and the podcast as well. So please stay tuned for more videos. And thank you for now. Goodbye.